Just talk until you feel like you've got the message. No, about 5 minutes. Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the 2017-2018 school year and the Key Club International Induction Ceremony of our new members and officers. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here, and I humbly welcome you to the chapel at Fishburne Military School. Gentlemen, please be seated. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce some of our special guests. First of all, you may or may not know that Key Club is sponsored by our local Kiwanians, which I'm a Kiwanian, and we attended the Kiwanians induction ceremony the other day, had a lovely dinner downtown Waynesboro, and several of them have so graciously taken time out of their busy schedule today to join us. So fellow Kiwanians, would you please stand? Faculty and staff, I thank you for being here to join us as well. It's very much appreciated. And also with us is, if you were not at the National Honor Society induction ceremony just a little while ago, you missed a wonderful speech by our guest speaker. And that gentleman is Derek Rogers, class of 2012 from Fishburne, and also a former Key Clubber, and he has stayed on today to be a part of our induction ceremony. Derek, please stand. Before we get on with the business at hand, which is the induction, I would like to introduce two special people that I have up here on the stage with me. I sent out an email, and most of you hopefully received it, that Key Club is working on a very special project right now. It is called Operation U.S. Virgin Island Relief. I'm sure many of you have seen there's devastation going on down there. And I have asked John and Sabrina Jureidini to talk with you for a few moments to explain what's happening and how they really need our help. To those of you who have already donated the items that we requested, I thank you so much. If you're still interested in, when you're out and about in Waynesboro today, possibly going by Target or Walmart, and you would like to contribute to what our needs are, please do so. We really need your help. The people on the island really need your help. The things that we are asking for are baby diapers size 4 and up, adult diapers, depends, tarps, and John will explain why we are asking for tarps, and baby formula. So I'd like to welcome to the podium John and Sabrina Jureidini, and they will give you a little bit of background as to how this project started and why this is so important to them. Okay.
Is it afternoon yet?
It is.
Good afternoon. I'm John Jureidini, class of '83. I also am on the board of directors for the Alumni Association here. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be in front of not only parents of alumni and other people who are supported like the Kiwanis, but also some future alumni that are sitting right here in front of me. So with that being said, my wife and I lived in the Virgin Islands up until 2014. When we found out she was pregnant with our first child, we decided to move back to Virginia. However, I still am traveling back there once a month. We have a lot of close ties there. We were married by a sitting senator. He was actually the Senate president at the time of the Virgin Islands, Senator Sean Michael Malone. We had worked on his campaign, and he told us when he first met us, if you all get married, I'm going to be the guy who marries you. So we have a lot of ties there. We have a lot of close friends, people we consider family. And so we happened to be up here the 5th, I guess. We were meeting with Debbie and Captain Black on some other projects we were doing, but the whole time we were coming up here, we were talking to friends and texting with friends about this hurricane that was coming in. And I'm literally begging people, please leave. Please get on a plane. I got plenty of room. I'll keep you. And, no one expected that this island would get hit with record-breaking winds, 185 mile an hour winds. I mean, I can't even conceive of that, with record downfall. And no one could have even thought that 12 days later, St. Thomas would get sideswiped by Maria, but still get 100 mile an hour winds and another 20 inches of rain. And then it would be a direct hit on Puerto Rico and St. Croix. This had a double effect for St. Thomas because when Irma came through, it hit St. Thomas and the British Virgin Islands head on, but it sideswiped Puerto Rico and St. Croix. So we got so many people from those two islands sending relief to St. Thomas. Well, 12 days later, Maria hits, and now all that relief is gone. In fact, there were people that came from St. Croix and Puerto Rico to help at St. Thomas, and they were stuck there while their homes were being destroyed on those two islands. So I can't even begin to tell you the amount of devastation. I mean, people were putting films and pictures on Facebook, and then some of them sending them to me. I, for one, work for a resort there, still doing collections. I've been there 5 years. The entire roof of one building, a 20-unit building, came off in one shot. The general manager, who I've known 5-6 years, was in her apartment there with her two sons, about 30, when her entire roof came off with 200 mile an hour winds, and they had to make a human chain and go outside and get down the stairs and break into another room. I mean, she said refrigerators are flying, and she's never seen anything like it. I mean, this is a lady who, tough as nails. Would you agree? I mean, and yeah, she's sitting in our living room crying, and it's just devastating. The pictures that were sent to me, the pool deck that I've walked on so many times, slid down the side of the mountain. The sports bar, I can't tell you how many Redskins games I watched in that sports bar when I came down. It looked like a bomb went off. In fact, I think a bomb could have done less damage. I mean, it just blew apart. It was like what you ever seen a tornado hit a house? That's what this bar looked like. It had a couple studs sitting up and just blew out. I mean, it's incredible the amount of damage. So what are they facing now? Well, you would have thought a month later they'd be okay. No. We still get our texts on our phones of things going on down there, because when I'm down there, I need to know if power's going to go out, or if there's going to be a flood, or if the something's going to happen. They have this Vitima warning system. So this past 10 days, flash flood warnings. They are getting pummeled with rain. So imagine you've lost your roof and you have a tarp, but you're getting pummeled with rain. I mean, it's just, they are not catching a break. Mosquitoes, the hurricane managed to kill everything except the mosquitoes. They have come back in according to what I've been heard, a vicious mutated form. So, you have now no roof, your windows have been blown out, you're dealing with mosquitoes, you have no electric, you have no water. Now, St. Thomas was kind of unique in a way that most people lived on cistern water. You weren't on city water. So everyone has like a 30,000 gallon cistern underneath your house. That's how you collect water, and you get, fresh rainwater. It's, purified, through your own filter and what have you. But if you don't have electric, you can't get it up to your house. So, you have people that, have a generator. They're able, maybe their whole schedule runs around how many hours they can run their generator. They're not going to see full power of the island, hopefully, by Christmas. Phone lines, internet are down. I mean, I have business I can conduct for the resort right now that I work for. Can't do it. There's no phone lines. There's no internet. I can't run credit cards for them. I can't do. I can't send them agreements and so forth to get settled. Everything has gone to a standstill, and literally people are just trying just to survive. I mean, imagine people that I've known for 5 or 6 years are depending on one small military ready-to-eat meal a day. I mean, and they just cut those off. I don't know how that's going to happen. So I mean, how they're going to deal with this. I mean, I know that we're currently supporting 2 separate soup lines that put out 1,500 meals a day. Now they're going to add another 4,000 people on top of that. They just cut that off. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So it's to say that it's a desperate situation, it would be putting it mildly. To say that they're on the verge of humanitarian disaster is there, and any day they're right there, right on the edge. The media's playing it a little bit differently, but I'm telling you, I get the reports of the people right on the ground. It's bad. So, getting to where we're at, we're driving back, and I'm about to go on a business trip, and I'm looking at her going like, I just can't sit around. I'm not that type. So we have to do something. So she starts thinking, well, I know I want to get some boxes of supplies to some of our friends. Maybe, wouldn't it be a great idea if I was able to put this on the internet and get like maybe 50 donor families to donate 1 box of supplies to a needy family down in St. Thomas. I said, honey, that sounds great. You can't bother me for 3 days once I get on the plane, but get it started. And as soon as I get back, I'll jump on it with you. So I guess my second day of the trip, she calls, she's like, we have 1,000 donor families already. And I was like, first of all, I'm like, that's great. And the other part's going, what did you get me into? What? Oh my goodness. And then by the time I landed, they were over 2,000. We went over 23,000 donor families, I think, today. 24,000 donor families today, which is amazing. And most folks are sending more than 1 box. They're sending 2 boxes. So, if you consider a large flat rate USPS box, which is like about that and so forth, you consider each one's about 2 pounds. My estimation is we've just sitting from home without taking a single dollar in donations. We are responsible so far for about 300 tons of relief supplies going so far. And that's building every day. Now, along the way, we've accrued a staff of 14 volunteer girls. 90% of them are hurricane refugees. In other words, they went through Irma or Maria or both. And they are relocating in the States despite losing jobs, homes, everything. They're volunteering as much as they can. So we built this organization, and now we're trying to help other organizations. And so one of the groups started in Northern Virginia. They were able to get a 53-foot dry trailer. They filled it a third of the way. I talked to Debbie a few days later. I'm like, can we collect some stuff here? I'm actually going there tomorrow with my wife. We're going to be in Fairfax with the trailer. We have a bunch of my friends coming over that I grew up with. They're going to bring a lot of stuff. And so eventually that trailer is going to go off to Gainesville and collect goods out there. And then it's going to come here to Waynesboro, pick up whatever we've collected here, then come to Richmond, pick up whatever I've collected in Richmond. We should be able to fill that thing up. And the senator I was telling you about, Senator Malone, he now is one of the bigwigs for the United Way for the Virgin Islands. They found a donor that would pay for all the shipping if it just got to Tampa. So all we have to do is get that truck to Tampa, and then it'll be palletized, put into a sea container, and shipped off to St. Thomas. So, it's tough there right now. Even it's a cash society. Even if you had money, you can't just walk into a grocery store. Number one, you're going to wait in a line. Number two, you can only go in that line during the curfew hours. Number three, if you go in there, your credit card's not going to work. There's no internet. There's no phone. If you don't have cash, you're not buying anything. So every item, when you think about it, that you use every day is something they're going to need. But some of the items that are real short supply are some of the things that Debbie was telling you about. And this situation is not going to get better anytime soon. And so all I can tell you is that your support is critical. And these are American citizens. These are not, it's not like we're sending these off to another, not that other people around the world are less needy, but these are U.S. citizens, and they need help, and they're starving, and they need things. And, we're looking for all the support we can get here. And with that, I'll give you a couple more things that are going on before I turn it over to my wife. They've condemned half the schools there. I got a list from the Commissioner of the Department of Education of my new project now is to get entire truckloads of certain items just to get the schools back into some sort of semblance where they can be operational. The hospitals, both hospitals are condemned. I mean, we're talking in St. Thomas, a 5-story hospital that the entire top 2 stories blew away. And people were sitting in those hospitals. You know, they had to be medevac to Puerto Rico, St. Croix, or the States. I mean, their structures, the governor's asked for $5.5 billion just for the Virgin Islands, just to rebuild the infrastructure. So it's a serious situation. And any help, you know, it may seem small, 1 truckload of items, it's huge. That's a lot of stuff. It can help a lot of people. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my wife, Sabrina, who, you know, 2 weeks ago, I was like, well, honey, this will probably wind down in a week as things start to get better. And, 2 nights ago, she's like, well, I just talked to Pam, and we're putting you in charge of marketing. We're giving you 4 girls. And I'm like, well, does my salary double? And she goes, absolutely. So when you get 0, when you double, it's still 0. So my expense account doubled too, apparently. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my wife, Sabrina. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, John.
I'll be super quick. I'm just going to go over the things that are really, really needed. Obviously, we know that tarps, baby formula, diapers for adults, and people don't think about. The one thing that I was telling Debbie, if you want to donate more than that, there's plenty of lists. We've got a whole, if you go on to Adopt a Family USVI, we have a whole list of things. Life Straw, there's now an outbreak of cholera in children because of drinking water. So Life Straws have been a big one. White cotton socks. No one wears shoes in the Virgin Islands. We all wear flip-flops. And so now that there's all kinds of things and debris on the ground, they have to wear shoes. And the moisture is so bad that they can't keep them dry. So socks, especially for children. Anything non-perishable is great. Anything you're willing to give would be fantastic. We've done a lot. We've sent 24,000 boxes down there, but there's 100,000 citizens. I mean, and a lot of them are kids. We had an outreach from an orphanage the other day that had run out of formula. All the foster kids, the government is down, so the foster parents aren't getting checks because there's no way to write the check. So those kids are all in need. We have a lot of work ahead of us. So anything you'd be willing to give, we'd be happy to take. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John and Sabrina. I really wanted him, this was a last minute decision to have them here, and I don't know firsthand. I mean, I've listened to what they've told me, but you needed to hear firsthand the devastation that's going on down there. And I just hope that you all will join in and help us however you can. I think the plan is to transport that for the truck to go down the 31st, am I right?
Yeah, I'll have the exact date tomorrow. But
Yeah.
The truck is going to be in Northern Virginia up until, in Gainesville, Northern Virginia up until the end of the month. It's going to come here, kick things up, come to Richmond. I'm going to try and stage an event there, and then it's going to go to Florida.
So what I would like to ask, if you're not able to do anything today, or contribute today, and by the way, we have a table set up in the foyer. You'll already see some formula, diapers, and things like that in the foyer, and you can just deposit them there. But if you want to ship something, like get something on Amazon and have it shipped to Fishburne, Attention Key Club, that's fine as well. If you would go back and talk to your neighbors and your family members and see if they can help us out as well, it would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for listening. Like I said, this was not planned, but I thought it extremely important to be said this morning, because one of our things in Key Club is we help people all over the world, not just in our community. Yes, our community, our state, our nation, but also our world, especially the children. So I would like at this point to turn this portion over to our current Lieutenant Governor of Division 9B, Mr. Philip Griffin. Philip?
If the officers would please rise and come forward. Officers, you're responsible for the administration of the affairs of the club. You must determine the policies and activities of the club. Work with prospective members and continue to develop a strong club. The general management of your organization rests upon you. You are to present at all the regular and specially called meetings of your board and to take an active part in all deliberations. Express your opinions concerning all club affairs by considering the club first and for what it is in the best welfare of your Key Club. Editor, William Malvin. You've been elected to serve your club as editor. The job of editor is vital to the success of Key Club. You're responsible for the prime tool of communication, the club's newsletter, and as well as all other forms of communication. You're the voice of the club, to the school, and the community. In your hands is the ability to let everyone know exactly what your club is doing to serve the children of the world.
Cadet Malvin's parents, would you please come forward and pin him?
Treasurer, Ryan Curran. You have been elected to serve your club as treasurer, which office, in addition to the financial ability, demands personal integrity, a quality your fellow club members saw while electing you to office. Your duties will be to oversee the funds of your club, to keep proper records. You must make sure a report of the finances at such times as the president and any officers may require.
Cadet Kern's parents?
Secretary, Dylan Vaughn. You've been elected to serve your club as secretary. The job of secretary is one of the most challenging of duties. It is your duty to keep accurate records of the activities of the club and preserve records for further reference. You must keep a careful record of membership, attendance, and minutes of all meetings of the club. In your hands is placed the success of this group. I urge you to take your responsibilities very seriously. Vice President, Hoo-Sun Lee. You've been elected to serve your club as Vice President. As next in office to the President, you become his understudy. You may be asked at any time to step in his absence or incapacity. Let me then ask you to give careful attention to what I'm about to say to the elected President, and to consider the remarks as being addressed to you. President, Elian Gonzalez, it is a pleasure to welcome you as the elected Chief Executive of this organization. You are the most highly honored of all of its officers, and with great honor, there have been given to you the highest authority and heaviest responsibility. Presiding at meetings is the easiest of your tasks. However, you must give careful preparation and alert attention. You must be ready to suggest to all your officers such plans as you may think they would benefit the club, and you must remain unruffled should your suggestions be rejected. And always remember that you are the president of a democracy and in no way an autocrat. You should not usurp the authority of your fellow officers or of your committees. I urge you in your leadership to keep one goal at the center of all, your plans and endeavors, namely, to make the Key Club more vital to its members and more serviceable to the community. To all officers, it is a great privilege to welcome you into an official responsibility for the welfare of this club. I am sure that you all deeply appreciate the honor bestowed upon you by your fellow members, and you should enter upon your official business with the earnest resolution to be faithful to this trust reposed in you. I congratulate you, and I congratulate the club upon the wisdom of its choice for its official leadership. I officially declare you duly installed. President Gonzalez. Cheers.
Welcome, Key Club members, Kiwanians, and distinguished guests. Today we celebrate and induct our newest members of Key Club. I'd first like to introduce our old members. Please rise when I say your name. Adam Bowles, Donald Cravens, Tommy Dow, Jacob Fincham, John Lipp, Bryson Overton, Robert Palermo, Christian Tyler, Stacy Wood, I'd like to invite our new members to come forward as I call your name. Also, parents, please come forward to pin your son.
And if you would hold your applause until the last person is pinned, we would appreciate that. New members, please come forward.
Timothy Batoni. Shayu Chen. Jack Clegg. Quentin DiLorenzo. Gavin Flanagan. James Gallagher. Dylan Gladhill. Shunyun Hu. Miles Hurlbutt. Jack Coster. Chimeri and Zedu. Max Yao. Min Jo. Garrett Rose. Jonah Guyman. Because of our shared interest in serving your home, school, and community, it is a great privilege to welcome you into our club. Joining Key Club provides you the opportunity to serve by participating in projects and events. Active participation in project will further develop your leadership skills and provide personal development, plus provide great fellowship opportunities. Our constant goal is to be a vital force in the organization. Make membership more meaningful to our members and more valuable to its service. At this time, I would like you to join me in reciting the Key Club Pledge. Please raise your right hand. I pledge on my honor to uphold the objects of Key Club International, to build my home, school, and community, to serve my nation and God, and to combat all forces which tend to undermine these institutions. It is with great pride I induct you as members of the Fishburne Military School Key Club. Key Club expects great things from you, from your continued membership in the Kiwanis family. Just as we know that membership will bring many rewarding experiences into your life. Congratulations. Please join me in welcoming our newest Key Club members.
Gentlemen, you may be seated. There are a couple of people that I didn't introduce earlier on. I would like to introduce you to Captain Dan Dewar, who is my partner in crime as far as helping with Key Club here at Fishburne Military School. And also, I want to welcome the people in the community, specifically First Baptist Church. There is a Adopt a Cadet program at the church, and we're hoping to expand that to other churches and also out into the community. And these people when the kids are here, they are here for the kids. They take them out to lunch, they bring them goodies. It's just a beautiful program that was started by Mrs. Scotty Kirby right here. Scotty, stand up. And if you're a parent of an adopted cadet, please stand and let us acknowledge you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. When we have our football game this afternoon and there's a cookout provided by the members of the Fishburne Military School Alumni Association Board, they're going to be cooking hamburgers, hot dogs, they have sides, they have desserts, and it's all free. So take the money that you would normally spend getting something to eat at the football game and buy some things for our project. Okay. Also, we do a lot of things. We don't just focus on one thing at a time because there's a lot of things that need our attention. One of our projects that we've been doing for over 5 years is Eliminate, and that's eliminating maternal neonatal tetanus all over the world. So that's a project that we do through UNICEF. So we will be passing around our little UNICEF box. If you have some spare change in your pocket, if you would drop it in the box when the boys walk around, that would be fabulous. I believe that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for your time here. I thank our guests that came to speak with us, those of you in the audience, and congratulations, new members. We've done great work so far this year, and keep up the good work in doing what we can to help our home, school, and community. I thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.